What's up, guys? Coming back at you with another video. We are back on the 736 speed swap again. We're pretty much just going to dive right off into it in this video. The whole plan for this week and weekend is to get this front clip mounted. That means getting the fenders mounted up solid, getting the grill shroud up here, getting the headlights mounted on, going to the salvage yard, getting hood hinges set up on it, getting the hood bolted on, making the hood latch plate. I want to do all of that between now and Saturday night. So we've got a busy week ahead of us, but we're going to dive right off into getting these fenders on. So let me show you what I'm about to do. All right, so the way that I do this, and the reason why we left these air boxes here and we welded up the sidewalls of those, is because we take this 2x4 square tubing and I get an 8-foot stick of it, and both sides use 4 foot. So I measured from this pinch weld right here on the fender to roughly about right here. Somewhere's in here is where 4 foot falls, right there on that fender. So if we stick 4 foot up in there, we notch this air box out, a 4-inch section, take a 4-inch section of this air box and then go 2 inches inside right there. And then we take that 2x4 square tubing, lay it up into that notch right there, and run it down alongside this sidewall right here. And then we fit the sidewall to the square tubing. I think that's pretty much going to explain everything. Also, I had a question about asking you guys whether or not you want to see time lapses or you want to actually see me work on something real time. Like, we'll try it out in this video. I'll set you guys up on the tripod and I'll dive off into working this. I'll talk to you guys and go through this side, and then we'll time lapse the other side and see which one you guys prefer most. So without further ado, pitter patter, let's get at her. All right, now one thing you for sure don't want to forget is your safety squints. That's pretty accurate. Hey, it's about almost nearly in line with that shadow right there. But if we go a little bit small, we can take some out and we can fit it in there a little bit better. So that's what we're gonna do. All right, now we get a tape measure out. 4 inches is about to the bottom of that bracket. Look at that. Get my handy dandy Sharpie. So like that. Just like that. Now, square tubing. Now, 4 foot is actually a little bit longer than what it's going to be once it's all trimmed up and set up and everything for the fender to fit. So, what I'm just going to do is mark out 4 foot and rough cut 4 foot. And then we're going to stick it up on there. Safety squints. Just like that. Set this sucker up in here. Man, that's a good notch. A little bit of trimming to get set up over here. All right, guys, we got her fitted in there. I went ahead and I tacked it up. body line is freaking mint. Like there's not an up or down, it's just all. Let me see if I can get it in here where you guys can see it. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit here. All right, focus on the top of this trim right here. Yes. Yes. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull that fender back off. Get her welded up to the core support right down through here. And then I'm gonna trim the top. I'm gonna trim the sidewall off flush with the top of the square tubing so that we can clamp that sidewall over to the edge of the square tubing and weld it along the top. And then we'll trim the rest of this up off the top, right down through there. And then we'll do the bottom and we'll weld it up on the box right there. And then, like I said in previous clips, I have this round stock, what is that? It's 1/8 or 1/4 wall tubing. We're gonna put that inside here and go from the bottom of the door jamb right there up to the bottom of this square tubing right here behind the fender to help give it a brace, so that if you ever were to pull this cab and front clip all together, which I mean you have to because we're building it like a Super Duty, so that'll brace that square tubing in order to hold the weight of this front core support out there on the end. But yeah, I'm gonna set you guys up on time lapse for all of that because we've got torpedo heaters going and it's loud in the shop, and there's really no point in using all the storage to film real time. So we're gonna time lapse it. Let's go. All right, dudes and dudettes, we've got our 2x4 square tubing laid up there. Now, we got to trim the top of that thing off, clean up our surfaces. I think we are going to have to relocate the starter relay because it sits higher on this panel than what's going to be showing. So, starter relay is the only thing we're going to have to relocate on that. But basically, just going to cut her off right here, flush with the top of the tubing. And then from this point here, we're just gonna cut it up at an upward angle up here to this point. So from right here up to here, it'll be at an upward angle. And then all of this will be trimmed off flush with the top of the square tubing. We'll bend the tops over, weld the tops, sand it all down smooth, make it look nice and pretty. I'll set you guys back up on time lapse. Let's freaking go. All right, guys, we got our square tubing up here, welded in, smoothed out, looking nice and pretty. The next order of business is going to be to put our brace in from the bottom of the door jamb up to about right here on the square tubing. So we got this pipe. I don't even know how big it is. Need to measure it, but got that pipe. We're going to sit in here, and it's going to go from the bottom of the door jamb up to the square tubing like that. And we're going to weld it in, get it burnt in there, and that'll act as a brace on that square tubing to help hold the weight of that front clip if the cab was ever to be picked up like a Super Duty. So basically, I'm gonna get you guys set up and get that thing cut and fitted and get her burnt in. Let's go. All right, guys, passenger side is complete. Finally done. Got our brace in there. Once again, eyeballed those notches. It's perfect. There was barely, like it laid right up in there. Perfect. So wasn't really much of a gap to weld up. Just weld her on up, burn her in. So now we can set our fender up here, and we can drill our holes in the top of the square tubing to mount the top half of the fender. The brace right here hides behind the fender right here. You can't even see it. Like, get this fender set up here. Set the fender on with one hand, just like that. Set the door gap, just like that. Our brace is back up here behind the fender. Cannot be seen from the side unless you're looking up underneath it like that. Now, the top half, we got our smoothed out portion from the square tubing to the core support right here. And we have our Super Duty wall along the top that's smoothed out and welded together along the top right there. We will have to make a bracket to bolt up the solenoid, the starter solenoid, but I'm thinking we can probably take some angle iron and smooth us out a bracket that bolts up to these two fender holes right here, this one and this one. Bolt some angle iron right there to those two fender bolts, and then put that starter solenoid straight to that like that. So I think that would be pretty simple. We do still need to go get our hood hinges to bolt up to the cowl right there, and then we'll have another bracket back here for the hood shocks. And I'm thinking about using 6.7 Power Stroke hood shocks because they're a little bit longer and a lot more stiffer than 6.0 hood shocks. So that's it for the passenger side. We're basically just going to move over here to the driver's side now and repeat the process. Do the exact same thing to this side. So without further ado, pitter patter, let's get at her. right, freaking dudes and dudettes. We got her all up there. Got her welded up, smoothed out, painted up, and we are ready to put the fenders on and get the grill shroud bolted up and make this look like an actual 79 Ford again. One of the things you guys will notice on this square tubing, I went ahead and notched the fronts right here. That is so the front fender bolt can still go in the top here, along with the brackets for the headlight bezel. These bolts here on this headlight bezel, those will bolt up on the top right here. But I notched the bottom half out of it so that our wiring for our side marker can come over here to the fender still. Because on my 6.0 power stroke outside, I did this square tubing and I didn't notch this out. And my bulb sockets, or my light sockets for the bulbs, I guess you would call them, these won't twist into the side marker lights because the wire is too stretched trying to go around that square tubing. So I notched that out on this one. A little bit of extra precaution, but we got our fender braces, or our braces in there going from the bottom of the door jamb up to the center of the square tubing. All of it is in there and solid, and we are freaking ready to hang the fenders and put the grill shroud on. So I'm going to set you guys up on time lapse. We're going to slap her together. Let's go. All right, guys, we got the front clip bolted up on the old 79 here. Starting to look like a complete truck again. So the next order of business for today is going to be to chop these front frame horns off where the SUPERDUTY bumper used to mount to the frame. Get that stuff chopped off, trimmed up and clean so that we can start making our mounts for our dent side bumper. But before I dive off into that, I'm going to run to my local salvage yard. And we're going to see if we can find some 90s model Ford OBS hood hinges. And we're going to go pick those up, come back and see if we can get the hood hinged and mounted today as well. So I got to pack my toolkit up. Tina is out here warming up the old shop truck. We'll get my tools picked up, we'll get the kit thrown in the truck, we'll run off the old Paul Clark Salvage, see if we can find us some hood hinges. Let's go. All right, guys, we made it out here to the old salvage yard. We got our taxi car. This is my most favorite salvage yard because you ain't got to walk or pack anything around. This dude gives you the keys to a taxi car. You can drive yourself around this lot and look at everything that they got here. I came back over here on this corner because they did have some 70s dent sides a while back, but we're going to dive off down into the holler here and see if we can find us an OBS Ford to pull the hood hinges off of for the customer's project in the shop. Check out how many freaking cars are here. Let me get up here on this frame rail right here. Step up here real quick. And this is maybe half. There's like on the other side of that hill, there's a whole other half of this, like of cars that go up that way, and the entrance is up there too. But all kinds of good stuff out here. Like there's days in the summertime whenever the weather's nice that I'll get bored and I'll just come out here just to snoop around. Just to look at all the junk and see if there's anything that I can get a good idea for. But I'm pretty sure the OBS Ford that we're after is down off in that ravine there. So we're gonna jump in our old pilot van, our old taxi van, and rip her on down through there and see if we can find us some hood hinges. Let's go. Also, this old freaking car right here is sweet. I don't really know exactly what it is. I think it's a Pontiac. If I had to guess, yeah, Pontiac. I can see the emblem there. Where the emblem used to be anyways. But that's freaking cool. This is something that I've wanted to get into for a while. I've been doing trucks and had all kinds of trucks. And I think it would be really freaking sweet to build an old 60s car. I really would like to have a 62 to 64 Ford Fairlane or Galaxy 500. That's what I like. But we're getting the old taxi here. Let's see if we can find us some hinges. Let's freaking go. Oh yeah, this is sick. You know, part of me thinks it would be freaking awesome to get all my buddies together and come out here and freaking derby these taxi cars. But I think that would probably ruin the convenience of getting to drive them around to look for parts. So that would be super fun to do, though, is buy some old freaking cars for a couple $100 and just run the crap out of them. That might be something we'll have to do for a YouTube video or something. But there's a F-150 right here, silver F-150. I bought the seats out of that thing like 2 years ago. That's how long that truck's been here. Bought the front seats out of it 2 years ago. All right, I'm gonna park her right here and we're gonna get out and look around. See if we can find our OBS. All right, let's go hunting. See, that's a brick right there. So there's one right down there. Let me get my tools just in case we got it. Oh, come on. There we go. The foam out the way. We'll lay this tray down on the floor. Oh man, my sockets went everywhere. All right, I'm pretty sure all we need is a 10, but we might need 12, 13 as well. And then impacts in the front seat. Skadoosh. Let's freaking go. See the roof of it right down here? Right there, tip of my glove. I bet you it's got them. Bet you $5 it's got them. It really screws me too, because if it don't got them, there's like a couple thousand of you guys that watch these videos. Look at there. There they are. We got them. All right. 1 second. Gotta figure out how to get you guys. Let me just put my socket on there. Pretty sure you guys can see me that way. Get our socket on. Now, we can cook with peanut oil. Drop that, don't need them. Skadoosh. Set that one there. Come over here and get this one. Oh yeah, I love it. This battery was like half dead at the shop too, so we're running on hopes and dreams right now. We're getting it though. Look at that. Skadoosh. Got our hinges. Now, well, I might just drive around and waste a little bit of extra time. see what we can find for hood shocks. We do need some hood shock nubs from Fords. Actually, there's an F-150 right there we can go look at. A couple of them over there. Let's go see what they got for hood shocks. We'll leave our hinges right here. Skadoosh. You know, Ranger. Frickin' Ranger. Come on. There you go. Look at that. So, they do have hood shocks, but I need a way to pop the clips on them. These are what I need right here. These little nubs that the shocks bolt onto, snap onto. That's what I need. So, I'm gonna figure out what I need to do to get those. All right, we got our hinges back in the old taxi. We're gonna make our way out of here, I think. I got some nubs for the hood shocks. Got our hood hinges. There's not really a whole lot of extra stuff. There's not anything else that I need as far as that project goes. I'm just nosing around now, looking to see what the inventory looks like. Getting some ideas. Like I said, I'd like to build an old car eventually, and it's been on my mind here lately to there's an old brick nose over there. I wonder what's going on with that thing. But it's been on my mind lately to build a 60s to 70s era F100 single cab short bed Crown Vic swapped. But I don't want to do it like we've been doing the Super Duties where you use the Crown Vic dash and stuff. I want to keep the original dash and just put the Crown Vic wiring harness and stuff into it, or use a Holley standalone system. So be looking out for that as a personal build of my own, because I don't really have anybody wanting one built right now. But that's something that I'm interested in doing, in case you guys got something that you want done. But this is the other half of the salvage yard that I was talking about. Over here, there's all sorts of stuff. There's mainly newer cars. Like it's hard to explain. It kind of bums me out the way that he runs this salvage yard, because he doesn't really get like 3/4 ton or 1 ton pickups or diesels or anything like that. It's mainly just cars. And then you got half ton pickups and 1/4 ton pickups like Ford Rangers and stuff here and there. But there's not a whole lot of truck inventory here. I'm gonna get out and jump up on a car here and look around and see if I see anything I want to go look at. Like I said, not a whole lot of options. There's a lot of Dodge pickups over here. There is a 3/4 ton Dodge frame right there. It's got good four-wheel drive axles under it, but we don't really care for Dodge stuff. Not anymore. There's a lot of stuff over here. It goes all the way back over there. There is an old 80s Ford van back there. I don't know if you can see that, but I don't know. I might walk back there once we get back up to the front. But we're gonna get back in the van and turn around. Let's go. All right, guys, we're back at the shop. Got our hinges. We're fixing to chop the holes in the 79 cal and get them bolted in there. But I wanted to show you guys how I do this basically and give you an example up front before I put you on time lapse, because I'm basically just gonna get down right and get to it. So the dents, we're not making any modifications to the actual stock OBS hood hinge. There's 0 modifications needed to make this work. You got your OBS hood hinge here, and this clip on the hood itself is originally flipped around this way, and it goes through the hole that it's currently in and puts the threads into this hole. So you basically just take that clip out, flip it around, and put the threads in its original hole that it came from originally. And then you bolt the OBS hood hinge into the top corner bolt of the fender structure mount on the cowl of the 79. So this hinge is literally stock OBS, and it just sets right up in there after you cut your hole in the top of the cowl for the hinge to set up into. So that's basically what we're doing. I still got to get the hood off of the frame back there for the 7.3 swap, but we're going to go ahead and trim our holes out to put our hinges into the cowl, set you guys up on time lapse, and get them put on there. That way we can just get the hood, bring it in here, and bolt it up. Let's go. All right, guys, we got our hood hinges stuck up in there, bolted on, fitted. They function properly. That is what I'm talking about right there. So I went and got the hood. It's over here laying up against the bench. Now, this is what I was talking about earlier with flipping the clip around. So the OBS hood hinge right there, the back bolt on that hinge lines up perfectly with the dent side bolt hole right there. But the front bolt on the front half of the hinge, it lines up into this hole right here, not this one. So basically what we're gonna do is pull this clip out of here. I'm gonna get some tools, pull that clip out of there and flip that clip upside down and put the bolt hole, the threaded hole, right in here. And then we'll be able to take this hood and bolt it up to these hinges on top of here. Let's go. All right, get the clips flipped around just like that. And she lines up perfectly with these hinges. I'm gonna set you guys up on the tripod. My CFL Max over here help me set it up on there and get her bolted up. Let's go. All right, guys, we got the hood on there. I got the gaps all shimmed up. So whenever you're putting these OBS hinges on here, it's not entirely like slap it on there and it works flawlessly. You got it. There's some adjusting that you have to do, and some fitment that you got to do in order to make everything jive together. So the hinges get on there, and then you set the hood up here. And I put 2 washers in between the hinge and the hood to space the hood up off the hinge a 1/4 inch. And that makes our lines line up perfectly right there and allows the hood to sit flush with the cowl. Now, I was able to get these gaps on the side of the hood matching on both sides, but the center gap for some reason, and it does this on Tina too, the center gap is freaking wide. Like it's at least 1/4 to 5/16 in the center, and then this close on the side. Doesn't make any sense, but that's just the way they line up. It's just the way that it sets together. It can't be dead nuts level spot on. I mean, it's a freaking patina truck, so as close to factory as it can be. Freaking sick. See if I can get her open with one hand. It does rub a little bit on the cowl right here, but you fix that by bending the pinch weld on the bottom back side of the hood here. There's a pinch weld at the top sheet and the lower hood structure. There's a pinch weld on the back side of this hood that ties those two together, and you just fold that pinch weld back a little bit and you can keep it from rubbing. But I still gotta get my hood shocks in here, get the hood shocks on it, but that's freaking mint. It just sets down just like that, right on the front clip. And the front clip itself just needs to slide over this way. You can see it sitting over the frame rail here. The edge of the grill shroud is against that weld on the frame seam, and it's about a 1/4 inch. So we need to go a 1/4 inch that way, and then we'll be able to drill our holes in our square tubing and mount the tops of our fenders. And then up front here, not a whole lot needs to be done aside from trimming up the grill shroud on the back side back here to clear the AC condenser. Right now it's sitting against the AC condenser, and you can see it's got the bottom side of that grill pushed out. So we just need to trim that up, and I'll probably just take a flap disc to it and sand down the area that needs to be trimmed, and then we'll stick the grill bezel back on there. But she's looking like a freaking 79. I love it. I love it. We're winding down on the list on this thing too. We need to get the front bumper on, mount the front bumper, and then drill our holes, bolt our fenders on the square tubing, plate the inside of the frame rails, and then move into the cab, make the windshield wipers work, put the dash back together, put the rear bumper on, put the taillights on, wire the headlights, attach the filler neck to the 79 bedside. She's ready to rock. It's crazy. It seems like this thing came together so quick, but I've been working on it for a month and a half. So cool. I got some things in store for you guys once this one's done. Just stay tuned. All right, guys, I'm gonna get this front bumper mounted up, and then we're probably just gonna close out this video because we're stretching out there on time right now. So what I have going on here for this one is, a while back I bought a 73 F100 that a buddy of mine was gonna take to the scrapyard, and I got a hold of him before he took it there. And I had him come drop it off, and I gave him the scrap money for it. And I took all the good stuff off of it and then sent it to the scrapyard. Well, one of the things that I took off of it was the front bumper, but we couldn't get the front bumper bolts off. So I just cut the front frame horns off, not thinking about anything. I just lopped them off just to get the bumper off and get the truck loaded up for scrap, to take the junk stuff away and keep the good stuff. Well, I just remembered that I had those front frame horns, and I eyeball cut these. And they are I'll just show you. That's how close they are in length. So what we're gonna do is take these front frame horns and bolt them to this bumper, because these two bumpers are different. This bumper is actually, it's molded differently for being an older model truck. So we're gonna keep this bumper on it and just mount it off of this bumper. But we're gonna put our front frame horns on this bumper, put the bolts in it, and stick it up there. And I'm pretty sure that the frame horns, come on, flip over. I'm pretty sure that the outsides of these frame horns will sit on the inside of the SUPERDUTY frame. So we can just stick those up there and weld those to the inside of the SUPERDUTY frame and get our bumper mounted up just like that. So I'm gonna set you guys up on the time lapse and I'm gonna see what I can make happen. Let's go. All right, guys, we got the bumper on there. Took a little bit longer than what I expected. I ended up doing a few more things while I was there. But here's how she's looking. Freaking sick. Looks like a freaking 79 F350 now, 4x4. Looks factory. So while I was mounting the bumper and getting those frame horns welded onto the front frame horns of the SUPERDUTY frame, I went ahead and took off the AC condenser mounts, the little brackets down here on the bottom of the core support. I took those off. The original bushing, let's see if you can see where my welds are right here. Yeah. So my welds are here. This original bushing used to sit out here, and I chopped it off right there and then moved it back all the way as far as I could get it to the back to give us some more clearance against the grill and not have to trim off that much. I ended up actually only having to trim the grill bezel, and that was it. So we got that done. Those are all fitted up. Bumpers welded on solid. I feel like I did a lot more than that, but it took a while. But she turned out mint. Turned out freaking killer. But that's it for this video, guys. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment, share it with a friend. Let's keep this channel growing. See you guys on the next one. We're gonna dive off into windshield wipers and all of the little tedious stuff to button it up and send it on down the road. We're just about nearly done. Let's freaking go. See you guys later.